This company is tracking to be the next global fitness phenomenon, and it ain't Nike and sure ain't Mirror. This is Whoop. Let's dive into it. Woo! What's up, everyone? Sean Azari here. I'm with Matt Skopak.
How's it going, everyone?
Welcome to Deep Dive, episode 16, where we look for businesses and dive into their marketing and business strategies like Whoop, and such that you could start implementing them into your business as well. Whoop started, I believe, in
2011 it was founded.
2011 by Will Ahmed, who's a former Harvard student.
We're Rutgers.
We're Rutgers. Let's go back, add a little bit of context of the brand, a little bit of the story before we dive into these points.
So founded in 2011, what they are a wearable device company, very similar to a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. And really what they do is they are now like the most scientific and driven in the back end to really track your sleep, to give you something called HRV, and to kind of like a rest period or when you need rest. But it doesn't just tell you the data. It basically is your coach, and it tells you what you need to do, which is different than all the rest of them. So it's really cool.
So, I mean, how it differentiates within Fitbit and Apple, this is really like...
it's like the pro. It's like they basically market and they are the pro in the brand. Like, this is the top users, the most pro athletes use it. Like, if you're very serious about your performance or your sleep or things like that, or your health, this is the brand that you want to be able to be using.
And it used to be just marketed across professionals, and they opened up to...
the 1.0 version was, I think from about 2012, 2013 to 2016 was only for pro teams, pro athletes. The first two customers out of the first, I think, 10 to 100 customers were LeBron James and Michael Phelps. It was really the best of the best. And then in 2016, they opened it up to the public, where they launched the Whoop 2.0 band, where actually us normal people, not pro athletes, could actually purchase the brand and start tracking their performance and whatnot. So.
And before we get into the points, they also pivoted their pricing strategy or their whole model. I believe it was in 2018. They became more of a free model. Basically, before they used to sell the bands for $500, which is like a high-ticketed price item.
They switched it to a subscription base, which you'll see a lot of my points today will really dive in deeply to the pricing model and the pricing tiers and things like that.
And how it actually makes sense.
And how it makes sense for your business. And maybe you don't have to do all the way, but maybe having a hybrid of both of them is really something you should look into.
Dive into
Let's go.
Let's go. Number one, go.
Number one, subscription model versus full upfront payment. So this is kind of what me and Sean were just touching on. So what Whoop did from 2016 when they first launched to the public to 2018, they used to have their customers pay an upfront fee of $500 for the band, and then you get the full software. And really in 2018, what they did is they switched to
so it was a fixed
cost. Yeah, it's like you're buying a computer, you pay $2,000, and that's basically it. It's yours to use. So what they did is they switched it over to a subscription model. So you subscribe. Currently what their models look like are you pay $30 for 12 months, and that's a 6-month minimum commitment. You can pay $24 for an 18-month commitment, and then you can pay $16 for a 24-month. So it's 12, 18, or well, 6 to 12, 18, and then 24, and the price basically downgrades. But what this has done is, why would a business do this? It creates a constant revenue stream. It also allows, the biggest thing I think for Whoop is, now that they had their manufacturing down, they had the inventory for it, and they had the proof that it's a good product. Now they need to attract more customers to load onto their software. So it was very hard at $500 to attract a customer. It's expensive. If you're not serious about your performance and you're not sure, are you going to spend $500? Probably not, a lot of people. So what they now did is, with this subscription model, you get the bracelet for free, and then you just have to commit to a $30 a month payment. So this lets a lot more people try Whoop and then be like, wow, this product is awesome. Get hooked on it, and then keep on paying. So basically they came out to their break-even model is about 18 months. So once a person's on the program for 18 months, they're making more profit than if they sold it for $500. So as a business, you need to obviously find that that threshold of how much you can get your money back, how long it could take, and does a customer stay on it? And what they found that they said 50% of their customers have stayed on it more than 18 months. So, I mean, that's a great, they're basically making pure profit on now compared to what their old model was. And in that wearable bracelet, I think the study that came out maybe last year said the average customer, Fitbit and Apple, only uses that bracelet for 6 months, and then it basically gets thrown into the junk drawer and sits there. So Whoop is so valuable to its customers that they use it, 50% of those customers on Whoop use it for 18 months or more.
I'm seeing this more and more across different businesses. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it with Reborn, my art brand, but I seen it with a furniture brand called Feather. I think it's Feather.com, where you just rent furniture and you just pay a monthly fee, which is, because furniture can be very expensive, right? You could really
decorate my own apartment. It's ridiculous.
So they have like a rent. You basically rent it out for X amount of dollars a month. You get like a whole set of beautiful furniture, and then you give it up when you're done.
Yeah,
I seen that. We see Amazon obviously do the subscription models. Hold on, you save at least $10 if you subscribe. So if you get like a certain product every 3 weeks, depending on the routine.
Adding more products, and then you hit different levels.
And you guys do it with Sugar and Kush.
Yeah, it's a great model for e-commerce business if you have the right product that you can offer basically a subscription service. It helps your revenue so much, and the main point, which we've talked about so many times, is you are gaining revenue without spending $1 in marketing spend. And I cannot really tell you how valuable and how important that is in the e-commerce space.
We also seen in our previews, we talked about in a previous podcast, we've seen Mirror do this, but they also have a very high ticket priced item plus a subscription model, which makes them very valuable.
It's so valuable.
We also have, who else does this? We had, we talked about it recently. I can't even. Pure Vita does this with their membership monthly or something. You get bracelets. And
a lot of people do. I mean, this subscription model format. It came from the tech world. Like obviously software, like Microsoft, Norton Antivirus. Those companies have always had the subscription, but it's moving its way over now into the consumer goods section. So it's really, really important. And if you can find a way to do this, to build a subscription platform, now it increases and helps your revenue flow, but it also increases your valuation. Usually subscription businesses or revenue, you can get 4 to 6 times your valuation on that, the multiplier. So
maybe one day we'll talk about more into that.
Yeah, we can talk more in depth, but it's definitely, it will add to your valuation. It will make your life as a business owner and a financial or CFO a lot easier.
Number 2, use podcasting to your advantage. We're seeing all these brands, including Whoop, have a podcast series where they're taking professional athletes, they're interviewing them, they're getting tips from them and so forth. And what are they doing? They're distributing it across all different types of channels, including on their website where they have the podcast, they have all these notes in the podcast. And what does that do? One, if you're interviewing professional athletes or somebody, right? You're getting SEO for that person's name, especially if they're professional.
So what do you
athlete.
mean by SEO? Let's just slow it down, because this is very important that a lot of business owners, especially e-commerce, don't know
So
about.
let's say if you're Googling, let's say Tiger Woods, right? I don't know if that's not.
Let's do a company. So let's do Chubbies. Let's
go back. So like if you're typing Tiger Woods, XYZ, like what does Tiger Woods eat for breakfast, right? And if you talk that in the podcast, you may search up on Google, your article's gonna show up, your podcast is gonna show up and so forth. So great for SEO purposes. And then obviously they're embedding it on the website, they're embedding notes on the website, which again, you're adding more different types of content, right? So and different content, information and content.
And it comes on Google, you search, say Whoop, on the right side of your Google screen, you're going to see a video from people that maybe you made YouTube reviews or anything, or the podcast with Tiger Woods. So it shows authenticity, it shows proof of concept, like we talked about.
Also, they have it distributed across. So people are always asking, or people are always struggling, brands especially, what type of content should I be posting on our feed? We're just got product shots. What they're doing, and a lot of people are doing, we also do a deep dive, right? Yes. The long form video content could turn into short form videos. They have that on their IG page. They're also promoting their podcast, right? They're saying professional golfer speaks about XYZ. Want to listen to the full podcast? Watch the full podcast. Listen, watch, whatever they're different, depending on what they're promoting, their iTunes or their YouTube. So they have a little clip, like a nice teaser, right? Gets them like, oh wow, this is awesome. They're talking about what the diet of this professional golfer, or some secret tips. Maybe if I'm a professional golfer and if I'm getting targeted and seeing this because I know that athlete, I maybe want to watch more. And then it gets indirectly, you're promoting your brand, because that also athlete is wearing a brand, but you're dragging them to your page, you're driving them to your page and so forth. So you do run retargeting ads. So using podcasts to your advantage is huge. Obviously, if you can record it via video, you get more content. But even what they do, they don't even have, from what I've seen, their video on YouTube is just a black screen with their brand. You just see the audio. You just play it. It's the audio recording and so forth. So it's huge. Use it to your advantage.
It's really cool.
That's going to give you more content, and it then incorporates that lifestyle content strategy that we keep talking about.
Everyone's doing it, and it's really cool that the founder actually does these podcasts. He interviews these golfers. That's a really cool concept.
We talk about bootstrapping all the time, right? He's not hiring someone else to doing it.
Nope.
He wants to control his brand, and he probably has fun doing it. I mean, we have fun doing this.
Yeah.
So
totally great. So number 3, offer multiple pricing tiers. So we've talked about this a little bit in the intro. We've talked about it with numerous companies, and I've seen it firsthand. Is something that Whoop does is when you go now onto their membership pricing tab. So they have 3 pricing tiers for their subscription model. So it's $30 a month for a 6-month commitment. It's $24 a month if you sign up for 12 months, and that's an upfront fee. You pay for all 12 months upfront. Or it's it's $18 a month if you sign up for 18 months, and that's all upfront as well. So basically,
and also on top, you want to definitely highlight, if you're going to have pricing strategies, make sure people are seeing how much they're saving if they're upgrading and so forth.
Exactly.
So you want to show that they're saving. You don't expect your customer to calculate that cost. You want to make sure they know how much they're saving if you have those pricing tiers.
And it's a good amount of money. I mean, if you're saving, let's see, it's $12 for 18 months, that's $180 you'll be saving by basically paying upfront for the service. So, and that's a great idea. Think about the customer base who's going to be spending for this usually as well. Like, they are high performance athletes. They're a very high clientele that's really worried about their performance. So I would think that these people don't mind spending that extra money because it's so much value that this brings them. So
how about give an example of how you've done it with Sugar and Kush?
Yeah, absolutely. So the subscription model we've implemented recently.
Sugar and Kush, when you give it context, I've been watching some of the podcasts. Of course.
It's a CBD company, e-commerce, that specializes in basically healthy, natural, really CBD products that are just oils, bath, cosmetics, and tinctures and cookies and whatnot. Now, how do we do it with them? So basically, we give the offer. It's almost more of an Amazon subscription. We give them an option to buy the product on a either monthly or a 3-month, every 3 months. And what we do is we offer them, I would say, 30% off of the product price when you subscribe and you get it on that type of schedule. So what this has really done for us is it helps provide revenue stream. It also makes getting revenue without any sales, but more importantly, it allows us the money to keep on developing new products and things like that, and always provide a better customer
Have you seen a difference when you guys launch a subscription model?
In terms of what?
In terms of, like, I guess, revenue sales wise, like customer retention?
Retention. So with subscription models, your churn rate or the customers you lose are always a little bit higher, just because people they subscribe and then they drop off. Usually it's about 5 to 10% is industry average, depending on the industry and the cost of the item. But we've seen just drastic. People love, especially if it's a routine, like people use CBD on a routine basis. So they use it every night or they use it every morning. So like that kind of product is great to like launch as a subscription base. Like when you're on Amazon, think about when you're on Amazon, what products do you usually subscribe to? I know for me, my supplements, all my vitamins and things like that, they're on a monthly if it's a 30 capsule or every 3 months if it's a 90-day capsule. And that, like anything that, if you sell a product that people use on a routine basis, you need to be on a subscription model.
But you also could do it if you don't.
No, I'm just saying if you're not. But if, let's say, I mean, it's harder. You have to be strategic. But if you have a product that could be on a routine basis that people use, you need to be selling, you need to implement a subscription model, and if not, you're missing out on a lot of revenue and a lot of like reduction in expenses, especially in marketing.
Do you happen to know what Sugar and Kush uses for subscription services?
So if we use this through Shopify, we do a lot of our things, but we use Recharge. So there's Recharge.
These are apps, third-party apps.
That basically is on. I would recommend if you're a smaller business, Bold is probably less expensive, and then Recharge if you're really a larger one. But look at both of them and see which one's best for you. But those are, I think, the main two on that integrate with Shopify.
Awesome. Number four?
Number four,
use your customer's voice across all social channels and then promote them using Facebook ads. Whoop does this really well, very similar to Movement. I actually looked at, when I was looking at the Facebook ad library, and if you guys don't know, if you want to spy on your competitors, there's a Facebook ad
I don't think
library.
people really know about this.
Yeah,
I didn't know
still
about this.
So the Facebook ad library, and you can just spy on all your competitors' ads, the ones that are active and running, and you could just like reference them, especially give you good ideas.
I think this is a great point that we're going to put into a separate video. So kind of bring me, where is this? And then
so just go on Google, Google Facebook ad library, right? And it's gonna pop up. So Facebook owns it. About 2 years ago, they made everybody's ads public. It was more through politics reasons, but then they just made everything more accessible.
What this is for a business owner, what you guys need to do, and everyone needs to be doing this because I don't think a lot of business owners know. So you can look at your competitors, especially let's look at bigger brands that are bigger than you that you want to learn from and that you want to BR. So
especially companies that have a 40-person marketing team, right?
Exactly.
You want to leverage that. They have so many ideas, brains going through their meeting, right? If you're a one-person show or like a small team and you can't afford that, don't worry. Go to the ad library, use that for reference to get ideas, right? And then you'll get tons of different ideas, see what works and what doesn't. I mean, you're not gonna know what works and what doesn't, but you're gonna get great ideas that you could test different creatives, even copies, where you can tweak a little bit and then see and run it for your company. So
that's one of my favorite quotes. You don't need to beat the best, you need to learn from the best. That's what you do, is you learn from them, you use you take what they do and learn the strategy behind why they're doing it, and you then implement it with your brand. So this is, I would say, the most important point we maybe ever talked about.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much. So when I was looking at the ad library, you'll see the reviews, which very similar to Movement again, and where you'll see like their product, right? It's a mock-up shot that stands out of their band, their watch. I can't call it a watch; it's a band, basically. So where you'll see stars on top of the product, like 5 stars, and a quote, which is a review from somebody, and then the person's name right next to it. So they do that. I don't know if they use video, but a lot of people use also videos where they just multiple reviews. So it's just a static images, just overlaid across user-generated content, or just a mock-up images, just different people talking about it. These are great for retargeting purposes. Movement does it, Pure Vita does it, Casper does it.
Every single one does it.
I think all the brands we talked about, except, it's funny, Yeti. I haven't seen them. It wasn't active at that time. They don't run much ads, which I saw. But they're just a beast anyway. So we're not talking about them today. But I just wanted to point it out there. So test out different creatives. These are great for retargeting purposes because after they see your website, they may not have seen reviews or just forgot about it. It's a great way, especially if they added it to cart too, right? They added to cart, but they wasn't sure. They now see your product again on Facebook with a freaking review. So it definitely helps increase your conversions as well.
Absolutely. It creates proof of concept as well. People see reviews, they see people people that are like them. It shows proof that, hey, I should probably get this product that they got. So number 5, leverage customer surveys after purchasing. So during all this research, I did not have a Whoop. I'll be honest with everyone. I have a Fitbit that I've always used. And then during researching, I really fell in love with what they do and the data that they provide, the value that they provide their customer. And I actually bought the Whoop. I signed up for an 18-month subscription model. So I'm getting that. But very interestingly, after I made the purchase, what they do is right after the receipt, they put you onto a 5-question survey. It asks you how you heard about the product. Then it asks you friend, whatnot, where you heard about it if it wasn't a person. And then it asks you why did you purchase? What metrics are you most worried, or do you want value in? So mine was like getting tone, tracking sleep, because I know sleep is probably the most important thing to health, overall health. And then it was like gave 10 to 12 options. But this idea of surveying.
So it's more than just like, how did you hear from us? It's more.
It's basically these questions. What this does is it helps the company, it helps Whoop know exactly who to market to, how to market to them, and then what to show that Whoop does or provides value to the customer. So why is that important? And I know I'm going to get this rejection, like, hey, Matt, like only 10% of those people actually probably do the surveys. So who cares though? If you have
also you could provide an incentive for people to actually
but this was
enter,
right
like,
in the website, and you already made the purchase. So like, what incentive are you going to give them now?
give them 10% off another band. Because don't they have replaceable bands?
Yeah, they do have replaceable bands, but you just bought a brand new one. You're not going to be thinking about replacing. But it's not about that. So if they get maybe 1,000 people that order every day and say 10% fill it out, it's still, that's 100 people over the course of a year. They're going to get, let's see, 100 people, 365. They're going to get what, 3,650 reviews, and basically telling them who they should market to and why they should market to. So guys, after the purchase, me and Sean talked about this for both of our businesses. You have a short survey to try to find out like who they are, where they heard about you from, and why they got your product. And that's going to give you huge insight on how to market and acquire new customers, so you know exactly who to hyper target with your ads.
Especially when you acquire that customer through Facebook, right? You're running these multiple campaigns across different ad sets, different audiences, so forth, right? But then you get more detail. So you see that customer convert through a Facebook ad, right? But after they answer all those questions, think about this, you're getting more data. So you really then could tweak your ads based on those type of people, especially if you're seeing a correlation amongst certain people that are converting. Like, all right, look, you can create lookalike audiences, which I could get talking more deep about later on, not in this podcast, but which is very short level, very high level. It's where Facebook looks at people that have visited your page and creates a very similar type of audience based on
profile. It's almost like a profile by your own.
You're also doing this manually by actually getting more data, implementing these surveys.
And these are actually people that bought your product and spent a lot of money. Like, you're finding out exactly why they bought your product. These aren't like maybe they'll buy. So, I mean, that's super, super important.
Something I'm definitely going to implement in Reborn. Also, guys, I've seen a lot of these companies, very similar thing. They're all data driven.
Yes.
Data
is king.
Data is king. Content's king, but data is way more powerful. So,
and this, it's also going to drive down your customer acquisition costs too, because if you can target a better customer or a better possible customer, instead of maybe paying $45 or $25 for that customer, you're targeting the right person. So you're going to have to spend basically less money to target a bunch of people.
And you understand also what that person, that individual wants, right? What their needs are.
You learn your possible customer better, which I think that's the most important thing in every company that we talk about, knowing exactly who your customer is and what they want and what value they find in your product.
Awesome. Number six is start slow with your ad spend. Test out your visitors. Record there's a lot of apps where you could record their screen. I'm not really sure how Whoop does this. I'm not in their marketing team, but I could be pretty sure, like, think about for the fact they pivoted their strategy. They had a $500 watch, right? They realized customers were not really purchasing it.
Wearable device,
same thing. Right? People weren't, they weren't converting, I'm assuming, as high, but this is just like, you could just see, even with my company, I noticed this is how you test out different strategies, see what works, what doesn't. This is how you fix different problems. So you start out slow. A lot of people like to go big fast. Do not do that. You could download third-party apps, or like the software is called like Mouseflow, where you're actually recording the screen. It's a subscription service. You pay $100 a month for about 10,000 impressions, 10,000 visitors on your website that you're tracking and so forth. So you can see what they're doing on their website. You can see if people are getting stuck somewhere. You could see if they're adding it to the cart and something happens, maybe an error or something. So you want to catch these, before spending so much money, and you realize you spent $5,000 and you realize that your cart page is not working, or something's not popping up as it should be. Maybe the image is not popping out, which is making your website look like messed up. So you really want to start slow with ad spend. Don't go full force, and do a lot of A/B testing. So that's very important to really test out. Look for recording software. It's legal, so don't think it's not. You're only recording the screen
while they're on your website.
And I think it skips the whole inputting the credit card, so forth. So really, really important. I've learned a lot using Mouseflow. It is expensive, but you do learn a lot. Make sure you're utilizing it all the time, watching your customers consistently to actually learn what they're doing, how they're behaving on your customers. So people use heat maps. I don't really understand these heat maps where you're seeing like what's red and what's, I mean, I understand they're very basic, but this is just much more straightforward and it's easier.
And you don't want to spend
understand.
money on the marketing that you're not sure yet. Like we've always said, you want to try different marketing advertisements, different areas to market to. So you're not going to put all your money, say spend $50,000 into one ad when you really don't know. You should create 10, 15, 20. That's what you always preach. And then see which one performs best. And once you've come to a winner, then you can spend a little bit more money on those ads. But you always want to be testing numerous ads and numerous types of it.
Completely agree. So, guys, that's the end of this episode, right?
That's it.
Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a thumbs up button. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe for more weekly content. Give us a 5-star rating if you're listening to iTunes, Spotify, and so forth. Let us know. Give us a review in the comments. Come on, we need some reviews. Yeah. And also, if you have any questions, you can also leave in the comments or tweet us at mscopac. And your
Instagram is Matthew_Alexander with
you make it
2
public?
X's. Yes, it's public.
There we go. There we go. And mine's at Sean_Azari. Tweet me any questions you have. And let us know. We'll see you next week. We're going to just start doing interviews.
Yep, it's going to start. We have some big collabs coming up that we're in
business owners. If you're listening to this, if you want to be on the podcast, maybe discuss questions you have, not just about your business. Maybe you're starting a business, you have questions. Yeah. That's also helpful for this community as well. So anyway, we'll see you next week. Ciao. Peace. Sayonara.